if you're trying to buy a home right now and it's a first home, I don't remember conditions nationally ever being as difficult with what happened over about a 6-year period where home prices in much of the country accelerated at such a rapid rate. And then those home prices kind of stalled out, but then mortgage rates that had been in the 1s, 2s, and 3s are now heavily in the 6s and 7s. So you think of the 1-2 punch. If I'm trying to establish ownership of a house and I'm a first-time home buyer, wow. Not only do I face a much higher price of a home, but I also am paying much more for the money to buy that home because the carry cost and interest is so much higher than it was. So housing affordability has never been so rough. So people are doing a variety of things to try to stretch the dollar to make it work if you don't want to wait. And I think waiting is a viable alternative. But a lot of times buying a home is not just about money. It's about a sense of permanence, establishing yourself in an area, in a community that you may not feel in a rental apartment, rental home, a rental townhouse, something like that. I mean, just from dollars and cents, this is slam dunk a time to rent and not buy. But even with that, there are people who still want to buy. And because people in homes aren't selling in normal numbers because they don't want to give up a 1, 2, or 3% mortgage, it means that a lot of people are buying new construction, which has a higher cost per square foot typically than buying a used home. I mean, it is rough. And all I'm doing is stating the frustrations. So people are looking for ways to make it work. And one of them is what kind of money you get. And so there's a sliver of the market where people are able, and I addressed this probably 7-8 months ago, there are people out there with mortgages that you can assume. Usually government issued loans, not conventional, which are also government, Fannie and Freddie, but things that might be a veteran's loan or might be FHA loan, where you may be able to assume it without the rate going up. You'll have to qualify, but you may be able to assume it. And that has been a great way for people to turn the clock back to lower rates. It doesn't deal with the higher prices, but it deals with the lower rates. Then another thing is doing the adjustable rate mortgages. I'm getting a lot of solicitations I'm seeing from the 2 credit unions I'm a member of, pitching various forms of adjustable rates, with the rate set for typically 5 years and then a reset after that. So that will definitely save you money right now, like 1.3 to 1.5%, which will mean a significant difference in the payment. But it also means you're in a 60-month time bomb. I expect rates to go down. They're not going back to 1, 2, or 3%, but I expect rates to go down and that you will be rewarded for taking that leap of faith. Odds are very strong that you could do the 5-year ARM, fixed rate for 5 years, and be able to refinance in those 5 years into a permanent rate that would be meaningfully lower. Possible. If you have family members, parents, something like that, that have the means, the IRS permits them to lend you the money for your mortgage and be your mortgage company. You file like you would with any other mortgage, and the IRS sets out what interest rate you have to be charged. And if you have family who's a mind to do that, the interest rate that they have to charge you is substantially lower, that the IRS requires, it's reset, I think, every 90 days, than what you would have to pay going a traditional route for a mortgage. So all that's about the money. But there's something else that I've been, truthfully, I've been obsessed with for like 10 years. And it's actually it's been longer than that in my life. I love the whole idea of people being able to afford a house by, when they buy the house, also having with it rental income from that house. And now in places that permit it, more and more new construction builders are building where you can have like a basement apartment in areas where you build basements, or an apartment over a garage, or more expensive, an accessory dwelling unit where it's a little separate, let's call it a cottage that you can rent out. And it's allowing people in places where zoning permits, and then there's a lot of people doing it illegally, let's call it what it is. A lot of people are going against local zoning, and they're doing a illegal rental, but it gives you the income that allows you to afford that home. And in a home, taking space like a basement that has a separate entrance, or if there's a place that you could have an office or a little apartment over a garage, the square footage is already there. And it's so cheap to do it, and it can have a big impact on the ability for you to afford the house. And I know there are people who hate this stuff. I think we need to love it, because we have a housing affordability and availability problem in the United States. And the reason I have been so on this for so long is I think that this is a very affordable solution that really helps everybody to have something where you live in a house and you're also essentially a landlord at your own house, but with separation and privacy for the tenant and for you.